We're going to find out right now how they want to approach this. So, Vala, Snap Ban, Chew Ate My Hot Doge. Thinking about it as well. What do they want to ban here in this series? What are they worried about from Vox? Now, there's a lot of powerful picks. You think about Malfurion and ETC, all very prominent, but then there's the weirder things like Rexar that come into play. Commonly, you'll see Gul'dan be a heavily prioritized hero as well, as he does have the ultimate lane clear of all the heroes in the game, the best lane clear for this map in particular. Oftentimes, when you look at Quick Match Hero League, Team League, Sylvanas seems to be like one of those really, really mega powerful heroes, but she's a win more hero. You need to first be able to get the actual big Zerg wave that you can then escort to get that value, and oftentimes you're going to see teams look for the clear themselves first. Vox and Nihili have the option to go for the Gul'dan for that first pick. I'm not too sure if they're going to favor that over their favorite ETC or their favorite tank like ETC or their favorite healer like Malfurion. They've got some time to think about it. A common second pick rotation is our heroes like Tassadar and Vala together, considering those are both banned. It will shake things up. Basically, if you see the ETC locked in here, or you see the Malfurion locked in here, you'll see the Gul'dan ETC or whatever else is left open in these kind of scenarios for Chew Ate My Hot Doge when they do get to pick. Zarya. They're just going for her, so they're giving up that huge front line is ETC and Malf. Okay, no Gul'dan. I'm actually really surprised about that. J-House struggling with his cables right now. Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, man. And the Vala pick, I love it. You know, and Vox and Nihili right now. Our early Ariel pick, I think, is going to be coming. And the reason I say that is when we look at the bottom lane, which is going to be the most contested lane, it just seems to be the standard right now in the meta. You have a hero like Zarya. You have a hero like Ariel. Zarya, no mana pull. Ariel, no mana pull. And now those two heroes can sustain for days in that bottom lane. You add Gul'dan in the mix to be able to fill up that Ariel hope meter. You now have an infinite amount of sustain in a lane to be able to outpoke and outlive your team or your opponent. So I would not be surprised if we see that right now.
Yeah, that's just such a powerful start to the draft. If you're able to grab that here, the sustain you are allowed or afforded with Gul'dan is just monster. It's not like it's a must-have, but it seems like the likely pick. They're going to go for the Dahaka. Medic could definitely work as well. Medic Ariel, two supports that really could work well with this composition that Vox has. They're saying that's more valuable than losing something like Dahaka. Just keep flexible in our support role and make sure we have that. That's their top laner. That's their solo lane.
I like that it's a deny from Chew's team. I would love to see an Ariel ban here. And the thing about the difference between Ariel and Morales is that Morales applies such great heals.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you have a team that can just poke and poke and poke against a Morales team, Morales all of a sudden runs into the problem of mana. I love the ban from Chew Ate My Hot Doge with that Ariel. Now evens the playing field in that bottom lane significantly.
Agreed. Very likely that we will see the Medic pick up, and that's something that Chew Ate My Hot Doge can plan for. If they want to look to try to seclude this, Tyrande, they fear that. They know that Tyrande was played by Chew Ate My Hot Doge before, and we've seen that combo, lots of lockdown. Ooh, the Sylve, they're feeling confident.
I mean, for what it's worth, Starfall actually does do fairly well at clearing the wave.
That's true.
But Zeratul here, we know that's going to be Glaurung roaming around on that. I still feel like they got to bring some big damage, which it feels like they might end up leaving ETC alone on that front line.
I could see that here for sure. I mean, if there's any hero that can do that well, it's like ETC, Johanna, two of the better ones for the solo warrior position. Glau going to be on the rotate. Will it be Sylph solo lane, you think? She doesn't do terribly against Dahaka, but
it definitely doesn't excel. And if you've got Zeratul on the roam, maybe. But that's a really good question. I mean, your main damage dealer is not going to be Sylvanas and Zeratul. That's just you're asking way too much out of those two heroes. And you'll see a decent amount of damage from Sylvanas, but you don't see a lot of damage.
There's the Brightwing. possibly be the lone support. Especially with Zarya. Bubbles to help, deal with that. I could see Tyrael here.
I definitely feel like they probably want to be able to secure somebody else on that front line.
But
actually, no, I take that back. They have Zarya, so maybe they don't.
That would be a little... I mean, Zarya is kind of range, but she does definitely help with the bubbles provided for the team. They need burst as well.
I agree. I mean, Zarya can poke and poke and poke. Gul'dan, plenty of Fell Flames to go down, but...
So... For me, I'm saying to myself, who is Raffle playing? Maybe Gul'dan, maybe Zarya. But there's the Karazim and Falstad, the last pick for 2-8 my hot Doge. Falstad could be the solo lane in the situation. I like that better than Sylv, because Sylv can actually allow your 4-man to push. If you ever find an opening, you can get a lot done with her trait.
Against double support, it's going to be tough. I like the extra damage that they bring from Karazim. We know that ETC is going to be on that front line solo, and I think the main reason is they saw Zeratul picked up. And when you see Zeratul, that means it's a Glaurung hero, and they generally haven't been playing a lot of extra melee heroes, and they needed big damage from that back line.
Right.
So Karazim now offers the threat of 7-sided strike. Brightwing with the passive heals will do really well to pair with Gul'dan. You don't have to worry about targeting somebody to heal them. It will just passively heal them because of her trait. So there's a lot of big victories when we look at the draft, I think, for both sides. The global that you have matching up on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But Dahaka will be that solo top laner. Will Falstad use that flight to fly up there and possibly try and get a pick? Where does Zeratul fit into this? There's so many variables that I can't wait to see answered. Best of 5, man. These two teams, Vox and Nihili had a best of 3. They ended up going 3 games in their last set. There's just so much going for both these teams right now.
There really is, and I couldn't ask for better games tonight. I mean, sure, there have been a few stomps. It happens, but I don't think that's going to be the case in this matchup here. 2-8 my hot Doji, if you prefer. I know a lot of guys like Doji or Dogi. I guess it's Dogi. I've said Doge for too many years, man. That's just my jam. But we aren't nearly ready to begin here. Braxis hold out an intense game, intense map to start the series on. We're going to have to see who can take it first.
Yeah, I haven't tried this before, but when Warhead Junction came out, one of the things was if a nuke comes down, you just VP keep, VP your core, and it does no damage. I wonder what that's like if you VP your fort when the Zerg waves come in.
The Zerg's probably just like, go to sleep, take a nap, take a little cat nap.
I mean, they prioritize heroes, but would they bypass to just start running for heroes?
I haven't tested it, so.
That is something I have not tested or seen.
All right, well, here we are on the blue side. That's 2-8 my hot Doge with 2-8 on the Sylvanas. Bud's going to be playing Malfurion, Justing on ETC, Yoda on the fall side, and Glaurung playing his signature Zeratul.
Well, on the other side in red is going to be Vox Nihili, as we see Daihu will be manning the Dahaka. Lex Luthor on Brightwing. Roppelcopter is going to be on Karazim. Nightmare on Gul'dan. And Zeus rounding it out there on Zarya.
Solo lane likely will end up being the Falstad versus the Dahaka. Now, we've seen that matchup many times. Yoda's got to be careful to not get hit by the drag because it's a lot of damage you can't really sustain with, whereas Dahaka has plenty of self-sustain. But I think Glau will be roaming a lot to help keep that in check.
Well, I like how Falstad's up there. I mean, nobody has eyes on him. The minute he's done up at the top, he'll simply fly down to the bottom, join his team down there, and you'll have that 4-1 split. But right now, Zeratul waiting in the wings in this 4-person rotation. Zarya waiting to pick her level 1 talent. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see how she decides to play.
Maximum charge, not the Q build that we've been seeing so much of.
Interesting. Well, a lot of pressure being put on early. That Gul'dan siege with all of the Brightwing heals pulsing out. The double support will help keep those Gul'dan tanks fueled up, and they're keeping control of the globe, which has just been picked up. 45-second cooldown on that. Top lane with the double push in here onto Daihu. Should have similar results as they'll get a nice bit of pressure onto this wall.
Looks like they're actually going to get quite a bit of pressure. Maybe they think that Sylvanas can help defend fairly well on the bottom. As you can see, Zarya just eating up those tower shots, getting plenty of energy built up, and look at that chunking away at Chu8's health bar. But I think the power of the push, despite Falstad being up there, will probably favor this composition in the bottom lane.
Yeah. I mean, so far, so good. Nearly got that first tower. Sylph can do okay versus the lane, but there it goes. Tower number 1, tower number 2 following soon. Dahaka taking a bit of damage himself, but pretty even trades overall.
Yeah, so far, Glaurung is just staying on there. He's not afraid. Most of that ammo is gone. Only 2 shots left in that top lane, but they've sacrificed the entire bottom wall. Now comes the beacon phase, which is far more entertaining.
Yeah, good stacking on the globe, though, just to, you know, min-max here in the bottom lane. Justing. He just... Karazim, even with the nerf they put on Iron Fist in this patch they hit this week, he still hits very hard.
He does hit very hard, and Sylvanas won't be getting huge value on the minion waves until that level 7 barb shot comes into play. And that's kind of the key for Sylvanas, especially if you're trying to keep him down there on a 3 versus 4 rotation. But look at this, Glaurung on that backside getting that camp.
Yeah, going for the forward Hellbats. While it's a bit of a stalemate between the 2 lanes, experience slightly in favor of Vox. Glau will get that. Just going to rotate up and make sure they finish this off. Grab the globe in the top half when he decides to. Looking for the well. I like that call.
Yeah, the well obviously is crucial when we see these sustained fights, is that if you don't have a well to drop back to, you're going to be forced to tap, or your healer's going to be forced to use mana that they might be trying to hold for something else. Right now, both beacons are controlled momentarily by Chu-8 Mahadoj.
Yeah, they'll get about 22%, not too shabby. Surprised to see them neglecting that globe in the top. Just something they could have for a little bit more sustain, but as we do see, the rotation has happened, so the pressure swapping in the lanes. Top lane under siege by Vox, bottom lane under siege by Chu-8 Mahadoj. The benefit here, Glaurung has picked up 2 camps, and that's going to help out nicely.
Yeah, now we see Glaurung up to the top. I'm starting to see this play out a little bit longer. They're giving up a little bit, but the fact that they've got the Hellbats now down pushing in the bottom, you have Sylvanas to be able to lock this down. Sylvanas is straight, locks down structures. You can see that purple glow on it. They are not firing. They're not doing anything. Now, they gave up a lot in the top, but...
Good sneak from Glau, actually getting control here, already up to 40%. The fight continues on, and that's just going to be more and more power for this Zerg wave. Yes, Nightmare is going to reclaim control of the top, but 62% has been collected by Chu-8 Mahadoj.
We saw the cancel from the Brightwing phase shift. If that had gone up there, that bottom fort might be falling right now. So, good use of canceling that out, staying in a little bit longer. But as you said, the bigger deal here is that 62% already channeled for Chu-8 Mahadoj.
They're going actually to grab themselves their first Mercamp. Zeus holding the ground, seeing the shimmer of Glaurung on Zeratul. 7 is just about here. Both teams just kind of waiting for it.
Yeah, 7 is pretty crucial, like I said, for Sylvanas to be able to get that barb shot. It allows for really quick wave clears to be able to get that control, so that has been picked up.
How do you feel about auto attack Falstad, considering this is a map where oftentimes we see a high prioritization on just lane clear in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. Boomerang obviously offers to clear that that Zerg wave so much more, but I guess if they're looking to team fight, that's one way to execute it.
Yeah,
11 stacks, just to keep you up to date there.
Okay, nice. Well, Sylph starting to just get used to that trait, locking down the bottom fort as they put down some really nice damage as a response. Well, they're going to get the fort first here in the top lane. Once again, just kind of mirrored on each side of the map.
The thing about it is they're both pushing their Zerg lane, and getting the forts down is a pretty big deal. So if we see 100% Zerg wave eventually picked up by Vox Nihili, it will push that top lane. Whatever else is picked up here by Chu-8 Mahadoj will be pushing that bottom lane.
And that gets scary. If you start losing keep walls, I mean, there's actually a little bit more experience than a standard fort, so the value does add up. Daihu Force uses Essence almost instantly, a little bit more percent, up to 86 already. Justing holds on to this point as long as he can. 94% for Chu-8 Mahadoj, and that, I mean, they're guaranteed a big wave of Zergs. You can see they're all just piling on in.
Well, we know Gul'dan has significant amount of wave clear, so we'll see how well that works for him. You see that they're trying to channel this one more time, and they should be able to capture this. Daihu moving in, not able to knock him away, so they're going to stay alive for just a few minutes longer, keeping that Zerg wave from finishing up. But Sylvanas threat, man. Gul'dan has great wave clear. Dahaka can help. Zarya can help. But if Sylvanas gets those locked down, it's going to be pretty significant.
Yeah. Well, Brightwing and Falstead both got the nerfs on their global in this hatch, and Lex Uther just got nerfed in this game. He goes down very quickly. The pressure being put on by 2-8 Mahatosh with that kill. If they manage to get 100% Zerg Wave, lock in their heroics, and push down this bottom lane, well, that's going to be scary. And here comes the Zerg.
Yeah, they see that. They've started that camp, and I'm wondering if they're going to try and invade this. ETC walks right past it. That's going to show on the minimap that it's still active, so that will help defend against the Zerg wave that's going to be pushing the bottom. But that kill on the top afforded them the opportunity to take down that top fort, and so much pressure being put on as level 10 also picked up.
All right, one Hunter Seeker missile will get out from this camp. That's it. Not too much damage applied. The Zerg wave marching on 4. They need to clean up the Banelings with one Fel Flame. Should be enough to do it, stopping a lot of the damage, but the rest of the Zerg have made their way. Dahaka soaking top for 10 desperately, making this a 4v5.
Yeah, and Sylvanas all the while is locking down the towers. They're not doing any damage right now, so they've made their way through. Glaurung got that sidewall down. There, Mosh Pit is available. We're going to see is Justin. Is he going to go in? Whoa! Twilight Dream is coming. The Mosh Pit is in. One goes down. A second, is going to fall.
This could be game if they want to just keep pressing the issue. 10 just not being locked in, but 2 members still down. The Zerg wave not super healthy, but at about 40%. They're working on the core, J-House.
All they've got to do is turn and maybe get another kill or two. The expulsion zone was used. Lex, Uther, and Zeus desperately trying to hold this off. Dahaka starting to make his rotations down. Zeus has been bodied down, goes down. The shield is down, Jake.
Horrify on 3, buying them a lot of time. Chewy getting focused. The big damage from Gul'dan is out. Buds, can he find the heal? He's super low himself. Chewy will fall. The core down to 40%. Glaurung in the back, unresponded to. They should have it.
Justin and Glaurung trying to take it down, doing all that they can. 10%. Game number 1 has gone over to Chewy Mahatosh. Talk about strategy and talk about team comp. That was excellently played. It all goes back to the composition that we saw. The rotations between the top and bottom lane. They used the power. It looked a little weird at first, but it saw it play out. But more importantly, that kill from Glaurung in that top, securing them the wave and the experience lead was crucial. Excellent shot calling by Glaurung and team there.
I mean,